It is Friday, February the 4th, 2022. Good morning. I'm Pearson Bowen. This is the CBC Morning Report. A large reservoir is under construction in St. Joseph and is expected to provide much needed relief from the water woes suffered by residents there. Crystal Hoyt reports.
The water woes of St. Joseph residents could soon be at an end. A major part of the solution is this reservoir behind me here at Castle Grant in St. Joseph. It's expected to hold 1.5 million gallons of water. Chairman of the Barbados Water Authority, Stephen Roberts, shared details about the project.
The water reservoirs, yes, this will definitely be increased water supply for the surrounding areas. Along with, for instance, the water coming down to Castle Grant being pumped all the way from Vineyard, this will definitely be extra water supply for the surrounding areas, which will continuously give them a reliable source of water. The actual cost of the tank in Castle Grant is roughly 4.405 million, and that includes the cost of the tank and the underlying costs such as the geotechnical and the land acquisition. These tanks are being built out of precast concrete, which is an extremely strong material, and they're being built by Preconco Limited. We have dealt with them in the past, and none of their tanks that they have built for us have given us any issues.
Residents say they are pleased it is being built.
If this reservoir being built in this close proximity of Branchbury going to result in a better and more reliable water supply for the residents of Branchbury, we are all for it. As you can see, we have that water tank there, which means that we have a reliable water supply. It's hurt everybody. People gonna come here to fetch water, to go home to make breakfast. It's be very challenging. And whatever the government can do to make the lives of the residents in Branchbury more comfortable concerning water, we be 100% behind it, man.
I'm glad it's building because I feel again it can help. It can help a lot because then at some points, so I got water for months and months, and it was real hard like dealing with the kids and stuff like that. Can't get to wash your clothes, you can't flush your toilets and stuff. I had to walk so far, sometimes I had to walk so far for water.
The project is expected to be completed within a few months. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
The morning report continues in just a moment. Health officials are working to clear the backlog of more than 3,000 people to be discharged from home isolation. That's according to a news release from the Barbados Government Information Service, which adds that the situation is being addressed as a matter of urgency by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. It also quotes Chief Medical Officer Dr. the Most Honorable Kenneth George as saying the ministry is aware of the current distress experienced by many who may have recovered from COVID-19 and are awaiting discharge from the home isolation team, especially those who need the documents to return to work. He says additional resources have been mobilized to cope with a rapid increase in positive cases, which has resulted from the current Omicron surge. The ministry is also swiftly exploring the implementation of an automated system for dealing with the discharge process so to further increase efficiency. Dr. George also revealed government is expanding Barbados' COVID-19 screening capacity by introducing a number of new private labs to the list of available sites. He adds the pandemic cannot be fought by government alone.
The Crane testing laboratory has been added to 2 other testing sites that have the capacity to do testing for COVID, both PCR and antigen testing. The other 2 sites are the Bayview site, and we just added ChemScreen. Why? Because with respect to how we move forward, this cannot only be a government-only type response, and therefore the private sector is certainly welcome.
According to the Chief Medical Officer, the Ministry of Health recognizes the importance of re-evaluating the COVID-19 response and making adjustments as the situation evolves. He says government is focused on safely reopening the Barbados economy.
The emphasis has to be on living with COVID safely, and therefore the economy and the functions within the economy must take place. If you look worldwide, countries are moving away from lockdowns and shutting up people because we have evolved, and what we have tried to do in Barbados is have the COVID response evolve as the conditions have been made available and appropriate to us.
An 89-year-old woman is the latest COVID-19 casualty. She was fully vaccinated and died on Wednesday at the Harrison Point facility. The number of deaths now from the virus stands at 283. And the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory has identified 609 new COVID-19 cases, 278 males and 331 females from the 2,303 tests conducted on February the 2nd. The cases comprise 119 people under the age of 18. There were 187 people in isolation facilities, while 11,043 were in home isolation. Under the National Vaccination Program, the fully vaccinated number now accounts 147,383. Health officials in Guyana are monitoring the frequency of COVID-19 reinfections. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony has appealed to Guyanese not to become complacent. We have a report now from NCN News.
The number of COVID reinfections in Guyana has recorded an increase according to the preliminary data from the Ministry of Health. While the bulk of these cases appears to be mild, reinfection is occurring in almost all 10 administrative regions across Guyana. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony attributes the growing number of repeat infections to the fast-spreading Omicron variant.
But one of the hallmarks of Omicron infections is that even if you had one of the previous variants, whether it's alpha, beta, gamma, or delta, that Omicron can reinfect you. And that's because of the different mutations that it has.
The minister also re-emphasized the need for pregnant women to get vaccinated since there has been an upsurge of those cases.
So we want to encourage women who have not been vaccinated and are pregnant to go and do so. It would have no effect on the baby, and therefore you should really make use of this opportunity.
Additionally, the health minister added that it has long been recognized that persons with long COVID encounter kidney and heart difficulties and memory loss, among others. However, Minister Anthony disclosed that a multidisciplinary team has been set up at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation to help treat persons with long COVID.
The Pan American Health Organization says childhood COVID-19 vaccinations should not be a prerequisite for the reopening of schools. Director Dr. Carissa Etienne stressed the best way to protect the well-being of the region's children is to safely reopen schools. She again advised countries to refocus their efforts in protecting healthcare workers, immunocompromised individuals, and the elderly first.
If they don't, they will continue to experience outbreaks. Their hospitals will remain overstretched, limiting care for other conditions, and too many people will continue to die from this virus. Once countries have secured high coverage with primary series and booster doses among these highest priority groups, PAHO recommends that they retool the vaccine rollout plans to focus on the next highest risk groups. As coverage in these priority groups grows, we will see reductions in the national hospitalization and mortality rates.
Dr. Etienne voiced concern for the region as she says the Americas are at risk for new and re-emerging outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases.
Because of our lower immunization coverage, we have seen measles circulating in more than one country years after we had eliminated it. Our regional technical advisory group has alerted us that based on their assessment of polio vaccination, that the region is at risk for reintroduction of polio. I think this is serious.
New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says that country will start reopening its borders in a phased plan, beginning with its own citizens, as it relaxes a strict quarantine system that was imposed at the start of the pandemic.
For almost 2 years, New Zealand has been largely shut off from the rest of the world. Tight border restrictions have seen it control the spread of COVID-19 better than most countries, with only 53 deaths from the virus. And now, with the Omicron variant already circulating here, the government feels the time is right to open up.
There was life before and now life with COVID. But that also means there will be life after COVID too. A life where we have adapted, where we have some normality back.
From the end of February, fully vaccinated New Zealanders will be able to return from Australia without having to quarantine. Soon after, it'll be extended to New Zealanders in other countries and to all visitors by October. Key to this decision was the vaccination rate, which has recovered from a very slow start. More than 93% of the eligible population is now fully vaccinated, and the minimum time between the second and third doses has been shortened to 3 months. The government was also coming under increasing pressure politically, economically and legally to open the border. Thousands of New Zealanders are stuck overseas, unable to return home because there aren't enough quarantine or MIQ hotel rooms, and some are taking the government to court.
It's easy to hear the word MIQ and immediately associate it with heartache. There is no question that for New Zealand, it has been one of the hardest parts of the pandemic. But the reason that it is right up there as one of the toughest things we have experienced is in part because large-scale loss of life is not.
At this stage, quarantine will be replaced by home isolation for 10 days, which is expected to be shortened to 7, possibly fewer, in the months ahead.
This is the CBC Morning Report. We'll take a break here and we're back with more in just a moment. The first session of Parliament for the new government and the new year opens this morning at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre. The House will be 30 members of Parliament and 18 named senators. The 18 will be 3 short of the 21 because Khalil Koth-Dawala's participation has to be voted on, as he's only 18 years old, while 2 opposition senators are still to be named. This will be the first time that Barbados Houses of Assembly will be convened as a republic. The pomp and pageantry will remain, with the military and band of the Barbados Police Service being a major part of the proceedings. Session will begin at 9:30. The Senate will convene in the Marigold Annex to elect a president, and the House in the Marigold Room to choose its speaker. These are expected to be Reginald Farley and Arthur Holder, respectively. Once they are chosen, they will then enter the Hibiscus Room with a waiting audience, which includes diplomats, dignitaries, spouses, and other invited guests. As they wait in the inner room, President, Her Excellency, the Most Honourable Dame Sandra Mason, takes the salute from the Guard of Honour of the Barbados Defence Force and inspects the troops. She then joins in the Hibiscus Room, presents the presidential address, and leaves the chamber. She will be escorted out by the Master-at-Arms and take the presidential farewell salute. Representatives of the 2 houses and guests then depart. The full ceremony will be carried live here on TV8 and will also be heard on Q100.7 FM from 10 this morning. Parents, teachers and students across the island are all wondering when will the students finally get back into schools for in-class learning. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit this island back in 2010, schools' corridors have been empty as classrooms have been forced into a virtual setting. However, there's another push to get students back into school, and the ministry in charge is starting by further educating the public. Shane Jones reports.
But I ain't take the vaccine, and I don't think no Chinaman should take the vaccine either, full stop.
Sir, what do you understand about COVID-19?
As the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training continues to pave the way for the safe, phased reopening of schools for face-to-face classes later this month, it is beefing up efforts to sensitize the public about the importance of students between 12 and 18 years old getting vaccinated.
We thought that children and young people were not as affected. But with the new, more transmissible variants, more children and young people are becoming infected, and some of them are becoming seriously ill.
Vaccination has been widely regarded as the leading public health prevention strategy to control the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Ministry of Education will circulate a number of public service announcements that encourage parents of eligible students to have their children vaccinated.
I miss interacting with my teachers and friends. I want to be vaccinated. Getting vaccinated can help protect me, my teachers, friends, and family from COVID-19.
I also understand that when vaccinated, I must continue to keep my guard up by washing my hands with soap and water frequently, wearing my mask properly, by covering my nose and mouth, and avoiding crowds.
We have implemented public health policies and measures in schools to protect everyone by installing hand sanitization stations, body temperature checks, and properly ventilated classrooms.
The proposed date for the reopening of schools is February 21st.
Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley has conveyed congratulatory statements to Jamaica's newly appointed Chief of Defence Staff. Just recently, Rear Admiral Antoinette Wemyss Gorman made history as the first woman to become the commanding officer of the Jamaica Defence Force. In a video message, Ms. Motley encouraged the new chief to be a role model for young women across the region.
From the routine patrols that secure our water from guns and other contraband, to the missions you've led to preserve democracy in Haiti. On behalf of the government and the people of Barbados, as well as your colleagues in the Barbados Defence Force and the regional security system, I want to extend best wishes to you in your new role. I hope that you will continue to inspire the young women of our region and let them see the potential in a career of service through the military. Let them see what it is like when a woman can break new ground in our region. Let them be inspired by your stellar example. I want to say to you, ma'am, congratulations again. Sail on, Rear Admiral.
United States President Joe Biden has said the leader of ISIL has been taken off the battlefield following an overnight raid in Syria that also killed children and women.
It happened in the town of Atma in Idlib province. People say they heard shelling and gunfire during a 2-hour battle. It was the largest US raid in Idlib province since an attack in 2019 that killed the previous leader of ISIL.
The driving force behind the genocide of the Yazidi people in northwestern Iraq in 2014. We all remember the gut-wrenching stories, mass slaughters that wiped out entire villages, thousands of women and young girls sold into slavery, rape used as a weapon of war. And thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more. As our troops approached to capture the terrorist, in a final act of desperate cowardness, he, with no regard to the lives of his own family or others in the building, he chose to blow himself up, not just to the vest, but to blow up that third floor, rather than face justice for the crimes he has committed, taking several members of his family with him, just as his predecessor did.
Let's bring in our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett, who's been covering developments. Kimberly, what more did Biden have to say at that press conference about the operation?
Well, it was a statement from the White House where the president was speaking from the Roosevelt Room. And what he had to say was really that the reason that the president made the decision after about a month of planning to target the ISIL leader had a lot to do with the fact that not only did the United States consider that he was a threat to U.S. interests and to Americans as a result of his activities, that also because of the crimes, as you heard there, the president talking, that he had already committed. And he spoke specifically about some of the crimes committed against women and girls, the Yazidi minority in 2014, particularly northwest Iraq, using rape as a weapon of war, enslaving them, but also for his activities in a network that stretched from Africa to Afghanistan, but directly in Iraq and Syria. Now, what we know is the U.S. president ordered this operation to go ahead after weeks of planning on Tuesday morning. He watched it take place in the Situation Room, the White House releasing a photo of this operation. In that photo, the vice president, as well as national security advisors, present watching this as it was carried out. And the U.S. president, as he spoke there from the Roosevelt Room, taking great pains to say that there was an effort to limit civilian casualties, knowing there would be criticism, and keeping in mind that this comes just about a week after the defense secretary himself ordered a directive of the military to essentially limit civilian casualties in combat operations. So on the heels of that, to have these civilian casualties is certainly not just an embarrassment, but opens the military up to criticism that was already in existence. So the U.S. president saying that this was a direct result of choices made by the ISIL leader, that while they were able to evacuate some of the family, or at least occupants of the home where the ISIL leader was hiding out, unfortunately in the final moments of his life, he chose to detonate a suicide vest using some of his immediate family members as human shields.
Meta Platforms Inc.'s one-day crash may rank as the worst in stock market history. The Facebook parent company plunged 22% in U.S. trading on the back of poor earning results, putting it on track to erase about $195 billion. At current levels, that's the biggest collapse in market value for any U.S. company.
Meta's share value fell 24% in early trading on Wall Street. That plunge followed losses on Wednesday, which wiped nearly $200 billion off Facebook's value. Other social media companies such as Twitter and Pinterest are also suffering losses. Kristen Salome is covering this story out of New York. Hello there, Kristen. Tell us more about what led to such a sharp decline.
Yeah, it is a big drop, 25%.
almost 26% now. It looks like Facebook stocks are down. This is in part due to the company's earnings. The last quarter were lower than expected, and predictions for the current quarter are also being downplayed by CEO Mark Zuckerberg. They had their annual meeting yesterday. Part of the declining revenues has been attributed to changing policies at Apple, believe it or not. Apple changed its privacy policies. That's having an impact on advertising, and advertising, big source of revenue, obviously, for Facebook. So that's one big issue. Also, Facebook has been losing daily users. For the first time, it recorded a drop of 500,000, 500,000 users, most of them in Africa and Latin America. This is the first time they've seen their usership go down, and that obviously spooked investors as well. Most of those drops coming in Africa and Latin America, suggesting that maybe Facebook has reached a saturation point. They're also dealing with competition from other social media platforms, TikTok in particular. The video social media site has been gaining in popularity. So all of that combining to make investors very concerned about Facebook's future.
Sports now. The one-day international series between West Indies women and South Africa women is now leveled at 1-1. The Windies women went down by 96 runs in the third match last evening in Johannesburg. Chasing 300 for victory, the Windies women fell short on 203 all-out of 44.4 overs, with Kaisia Knight leading with 69. Shabneem Ismail took 4 for 37. Earlier, South Africa women decided to bat first and posted 299 for 8 off their 50 overs, with Laura Woolvart striking a century, 117, and captain Sune Loose adding 56. Shamilia Connell picked up 4 for 54. Anissa Mohammed stood in as captain after Stephanie Taylor was ruled out after being assessed with a concussion. Also on the injury list was Shadeen Nation, who was taken to hospital for a medical examination after taking a tumble while fielding. Mohammed says those 2 injuries affected their batting performance, but she gave assurances that they are ready to bounce back in Sunday's series deciding game.
I think South Africa scored probably 40, 50 runs more than we expected. But having said that, they scored 299, and then we came and we lost Taylor and Nation, and I think that was a crucial part of the game for us. I think those are 2 of our main batters, and having lost them, I think if we had those 2 batters, we probably would have gotten closer to the score or probably winning the game. As West Indians, we like to have things going exciting, but we have a lot of game changers on our team, and we're hoping that on Sunday we'll be able to come out and play our best cricket.
All the best indeed. Here's a look at forecast conditions now recorded just a little while ago at the Met Office of the Grantley Adams International Airport. What's in it for today? At the moment, we're under fair and slightly hazy cloudy conditions at 25.5 degrees Celsius. The temperature is, while the winds are coming from the east at 22 kilometers an hour. To the beach we go now. We expect a low tide around 4 minutes past midday and a high tide at 29 minutes to 7 tonight. Swells are predicted to be smooth to moderate in open water, with them ranging as high as 2 meters, but with the possibility of increasing. So in the forecast for Barbados today, there's a mix of sunshine and clouds with the occasional brief scattered light to moderate shower, while Barbados tonight is forecast to be a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. Here's some forecast conditions for international cities. And that's it for today's edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Pearson Bowen. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Morning, Barbados, good morning.
Indeed, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today, Friday, the F's today. Friday, 4th February. The F's. It's a tongue twister in itself. Friday, 4th February 2022. I am Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you here and everywhere. Thank you so much for waking up with us every weekday morning, and also joining us on our YouTube stream and our streams on Facebook at CBC Barbados, and also at our Mornin Barbados Facebook page as well. Thank you for coming by. Want to remind you bright and early of our Valentine's promotion, just the two of us, just the two of you, literally. So tell us your love story in a beautiful 1-minute video. Just share it. Just share it. Let the love flow through that video, that 1-minute video. Share it with us. It doesn't matter how long you've been together, and it doesn't matter how old you are as a couple. It does not matter at all. Just send us that just the two of us 1-minute video to this WhatsApp number there on your screen. You will send it via WhatsApp to 467-5465. 467-5465. You have until the 9th of February to get your entries in. That's where you're going to be staying. Infinity on the Beach in St. Lawrence Gap is a beautiful location. Beautiful location. So imagine spending Valentine's there or sometime soon. So send it your video 1 minute long by WhatsApp to 467-5465. Thanks to Infinity on the Beach and TCA Party Rentals. Good luck, everybody. Let's have some fun, indeed. Now, today, Friday, we'll share with you a little bit more about Project Arrow. If you've never heard of it, as it pierces your spiritual heart, we'll talk to the people behind this Project Arrow in just a little while. Plus, the regional 4-day cricket series will start February 9th. Barbados will be playing at Kensington Oval, and 2 of Barbados cricketers will join us this morning as we get ready and gear up. We are defending champions. We want to know the game plan. What do you like to know? What do you also like to be in the stands to celebrate the victories as they unfold? In God's hands, God's property. There's a young woman who's written a book about this, and she tells her story, but she also shares her inspiration with you. She will share with us what it means to be God's property and in God's hand in just a bit too. And cook this, sip that. How does that sound to you? It's a novel way of entertaining your guests. We'll share that novelty with you in just a little while as well. But let's get started by buying from Bohe. And in talking about buying from Bohe, you may have seen the series right here on TV8. It's a co-production between ourselves and Kim Butcher. Kim Butcher joins us now. Kim, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Pearson, and good morning, Barbados. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Thank you for asking. How do you do?
I'm lovely this morning.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. Talk to me about your inspiration behind the idea of Buy from Bohe.
Buying from Bohe actually started as a Saturday activity. I'm a micro entrepreneur, and I would spend my Saturdays going around looking at other micro entrepreneurs and supporting them. So I'd start really early Saturday mornings. I'll go to Brighton Market and I'll go around Barbados looking at micro entrepreneurs and listening to their story. And I thought, I must not be the only person who may want to do this. There are so many wonderful micro entrepreneurs across Barbados. We need to find an opportunity for them to share their story and share their brand. So that is how the idea of Buy from Bohe was birthed. It started as just an idea that I had going around on Saturdays, and I said, you know what? We need to have a national platform for these micro entrepreneurs so we can see what they're doing and hear why they're doing it.
I want to hear a little bit about you first, though, because I can imagine you waking up every Saturday morning and saying, let me get ready because I'm traveling this island in search of what's out there. What happened to you? Can't you sleep?
Yes, but Saturday mornings, when you are a micro entrepreneur, time is relative. So you wake up early in the morning. Actually, I run my business between 4 a.m. and about 7 o'clock in the morning. And then I switch gears and I do something else. I do my 9 to 5. And then in the evenings, I revert back. When you are doing what you love, it doesn't matter about the time. And Saturdays were wonderful. I would meet so many interesting Barbadians who are doing so many wonderful things, so many products, so many services. Right. It really was a labor of love. And Buy from Bohe now is an extension of that, because now we're giving micro entrepreneurs an opportunity to share their story, to share their brand story. And brand story is very important because big business, small business, everybody has to pivot at some point. But when you buy into the brand, you're really buying into the why the micro entrepreneur is doing what he or she is doing. So if he has to change from selling fish cakes to bakes or from selling hats to bags, you are buying into the brands, you're buying into the values. It's what gives that micro entrepreneur his or her competitive advantage. And now is the best time for us to be supporting each other.
Yeah. What are you discovering, though? I mean, the variety of talent and products available. What are you discovering?
There's an absolute amount of, there's a lot of innovation around. People are finding products and services to solve problems. People are looking at their own experiences and turning them into products and services to help other persons in the community. So we are now in episode 2 of Buy From Boat Here. But when we started, we were looking at micro entrepreneurs who were solving problems. So we had a jewelry maker who had a challenge and she said, you know what, I can find a solution to a challenge I'm having. And she created her brand out of that. We have other micro entrepreneurs who are doing similar things. So I am looking actually right now for new inventors, people who are creating new things completely out of the box to solve real problems that we have here. And it is important for us to buy from Boat Here. I said in Christmas, buy from Boat Here because our things aren't stuck. So we're trying to get into Barbados. We're really about building community and building trust amongst our community and supporting, as I would say, we one another. Because that's really what we have to do.
Yeah. And the reality is that we do have some fantastic, well-made products on island, and it just behoves all of us really to get out there to get to know it. And oftentimes we want to go online and search overseas brands, but we have some beautiful brands here as well. And I like the fact that you're telling the brand story, because in telling the brand story, we understand the person, the magic, the blood, the sweat, the tears behind each project. Everybody knows Rihanna, so everybody knows Fenty. Everybody knows now about Louis Vuitton, so they want the Louis Vuitton product. And that's the whole point that you're sharing too, is when you share and buy from Boat Here. Now, I just saw some people who've been on the show so far. I know we would have had Odd Boy on before you, because we to ourselves recognize the excellence that exists in our creative people about the island. So share with us some of the clothing brands that you would have shared. Here's Odd Boy on set with you, and the production is done here at the CBC, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A wonderful team works with me in getting this done. I want to shout out Everson and the team. It is truly a pleasure working with them. In addition to Odd Boy, we had Iola, and Iola makes beautiful bags as well. We had Barizia, who is involved in earrings. We had even had home decor. This is the month of love, and we are celebrating loving on ourselves. So we looked at fashion for this last episode. Previous to that, we were looking at, innovative products and services. A Buy From Boat Here is really going to expand our reach. We want Barbadians to see what's being done in their communities and support. Buying is so important, and buy from Boat Here.
That's right. You provided now almost a storefront for all Barbadian offerings, really, when you come to think of it, but you watch it from home and wherever you are, on whatever device you're watching as well, and you get to see what's in store, what's out there, what's available, and you connect the buyer with the purchaser. And that's so vitally important, because it stimulates the economy and it gives opportunity to those who are creating as well to continue to do even more and offer more as well. And I'm sure you get a lot of satisfaction from seeing the result too.
Oh, absolutely. I am Bajan to the bone. I love Barbadian products and services. So for me, support is when you actually buy. So I am out here buying, I am supporting, and there's so many unique products. Everything from hair care, skin care, home decor. Bespoke Barbados is doing absolutely beautiful work in Barbados. So you don't have to buy anything else from overseas. Everything you want, you can get right here. Look at the workmanship in those bags from Iola. Absolutely amazing. Skin care, there's Honey Child. There are so many products, a litany in Barbados. Anything you could want. Barbados is a foodie space, and we will be touching food very soon. But you can eat from everywhere, every type of cuisine right here in Barbados. You want to have an experience, they're curated experiences people are doing right here. So in Barbados, you're not going away, because they're right here.
Listen, were you
everything you want can be done right here.
Were you always like this about Barbadian products?
Of course.
From as long as you can remember you? That is
Yes, I
wonderful to
have. I've
hear.
always loved Barbadian products. I'm actually wearing. I commit to wearing something from a Barbadian micro entrepreneur, and today I'm wearing something from a Barbadian micro entrepreneur. The quality of the products, that is what
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are buying into something that somebody took their time, their energy, and you are really supporting your community. You're supporting men, women, children, grannies, everybody in this process. So I like to know where my money is going. So it's important and imperative that we buy from both here, because we're not just supporting the micro entrepreneur that we're seeing, we're supporting communities. You're
Yes.
getting internet for little children. They're doing so many different things. That money that you are spending, it really is going a long way. And
You're
this is
quite
the
right.
opportune time. We're now a republic. Hey, let's celebrate us.
Yes,
Buy
yes.
from both here.
You're absolutely right. So for anyone watching today who themselves have something to offer and they'd like to be a part of your production, how can they contact you?
They can reach out to me via WhatsApp. They can send me a note to 266-0779, or you can send an email to okoyebelts@gmail.com. That is how you can be a part of Buy from Boat Hair. And I encourage every Bajan, buy something from Boat Hair. Every day, one little thing, buy from Boat Hair.
You see
And
that,
if again you're interested,
you see that exclamation mark you just put there? I can't beat it. Buy from Bohe starting today. So when is the show on TV so that we can watch it?
the next episode is coming up. I don't have the schedule just
Okay.
yet, but if you follow my page and Koya by Kim, you'll see the schedule for when we're coming up next. And we're looking for new inventors, people who are creating interesting things in Barbados. If you're involved in ICT, we're looking for you as well, because we want to show the expanse of goods and services that are offered right here in Barbados. We want people to feel comfortable and confident in buying their goods and services from from other Barbadians who are doing the same thing right here.
Can't say it any better. Thank you so much, Kim, for joining us today. Your passion, your energy behind all of this is infectious, and I hope that everybody gets the fever to buy from Bohe too. And the way to do so, folks, is to start by visiting, as Kim does. Just drive around sometimes and explore what's out there. But most of all, watch the show here on TV. If you can't make it about, you can watch it for sure, and you see what's available, and then you buy from Boat Here, because as Kim said, every bit that you spend with a local developer and business person trickles into the economy, helps a relative, helps a child. It even goes as far as that puts food on the table as well. It's so critical that we support our own, and that's what Kim is doing, and we shall do too. Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. All the best with the project. We will continue watching and we will continue supporting. We will most of all continue to
buy from Boat Hair.
There you go, my kind of girl. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Alrighty, thank you. Take care. And
You're
morning,
very
Barbados.
welcome. Good morning indeed.
Morning, micro entrepreneurs. Have a wonderful day and happy weekend.
Thank you so much, and the very same. Morning Barbados continues right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Before I go any further, let me today acknowledge one of ours. She interacts with us every single day on our Facebook page. Her name is Rhonda Hines Grimm. All early morning wall crawlers who would have crawled the wall with me while on radio, now you know. Today is Rhonda's birthday. So Rhonda, from all of us here at Mornin Barbados, she was one of our guests as well. As we met her, one of those people who watches us, we wish you the best, the merriest birthday today. So to Rhonda Hines Grimm, happy birthday to you. Got an option for you, because right now we're going to talk about cook this, sip that. That's right. Now, perhaps this is what you can do as part of your celebration runs. So Dario Calendar is the chef and the partner in Cook This, Sip That. Good morning to you, Dario.
Hey, good morning, Pearson. How are you doing?
I'm well. I like the name alone, Cook This, Sip That. Give me the idea behind the concept and what that is intended to achieve.
Well, my partner, Dominique, she came up with the idea that we wanted to create a concept of what, not just Barbadians, but people in general, the things that we like, which are great drinks, great food, and great company. And people tend to celebrate a lot of occasions, whether it's birthday, anniversary, or whatever it is. And things are quite limited now, especially with coronavirus. So people end up doing the same thing they usually do at a restaurant that they usually go to a couple times. They have probably been to a couple times before for dinner. And we wanted to offer something different. And you get to hang out with your friends, you get to cook some food, you drink some wine, and have a fantastic time. It's essentially the ultimate cooking party.
Right. So I could imagine people saying, you know, hey, listen, I found a recipe, cook this. Or I found this new beverage, sip that. All of those kinds of things they do individually, but you're saying you could come together now and we can do this together. And in a nice different way to have a party is a different way of having a gathering. Because traditionally we would say, okay, well, it's either bring each person potluck or somebody prepares. And you're saying, no, let's do this together. So we'll come together and we'll all decide to cook a pilau. We'll all decide to cook macaroni pie, but we'll get a little bit more exotic for sure. Or we'll all sample and taste and sip this. Is that the thinking behind that?
Well, essentially, but it's not even just so much sampling. You cook a full meal. They're usually 2 courses. Most clients or groups would typically have a start and a main course. Sometimes you have a main course and a dessert. And everybody comes together at the end of it, and they all sit down and have a nice meal. And sometimes it gets really competitive in the kitchen with the friends and family. And what we find a lot is that a lot of people a general misconception is that we're a cooking class, or that we offer, we're a course and it's something really strict and rigid, and, real sterile. But what we offer is a proper experience. So you would just come and you would be with your friends, your family, everybody have fun, a relaxed atmosphere. We bring everything. We supply chef's hats, aprons, cutting boards, knives, ingredients to cook with, any extra equipment that might be necessary. Of course, the wine, because you can't cook this without sipping a little bit of that sometimes.
So we provide the cooking space and you come. You come in and you guide us through the process as we go. Who decides the menu? The guests decide the menu, or you decide the menu?
Yes. Well, some guests, on the odd occasion, they ask me for my input, but typically guests tell us what they want to have. We have a set of options that guests can choose from, but that's not the end of it. I'm very versatile. I can do a lot of different things, so we leave it open to anything the guests might want that we might not even have on our list.
Okay, so I want to walk through the process. So here it is now. Let's say Team Mornin Barbados decides we want to have a cook this, sip that experience. We decided we wanted to create something. Obviously, we have to go. I go to the supermarket, right? The team, we go to the supermarket, we get the ingredients, or you do that?
No, you just show up or at the location, and then we arrive at the location, we bring everything.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to provide is the location and I guess some gas to cook with, or electricity with, electric stove top, some water, a fridge, you know, that kind of stuff. Just a kitchen.
You have the kitchen ready. So we decided we want to do this. We know what we want to do, and we call you, and then you and your team, y'all put it together, and you bring it to us wherever the kitchen space is, the cooking space is, and we have the experience going forward from there. You guide the process, but it's a great way to build a team. It's a great way to build a family. The family that cooks together stays together, right?
Stays together, and they eat together as well.
And precisely, they eat together. So how long have you guys been doing this now?
I think we started this in, I want to say February in 2019, sorry. This started in 2019, and it has been going on since then, but you know, with
restrictions,
COVID and different restrictions and stuff, it has been a little difficult, but no, we find, first we used to get very large groups sometimes, like 15 and stuff. You have corporate, it's very good for corporate team building sessions. We've had a couple of those already. But now we find we get in smaller, neater groups because everybody's trying to be as safe as possible, as careful as possible. So
makes sense.
You find this slightly smaller groups, but regardless of how small or how large the group is, it's always the same. They come. Sometimes you even have people a little apprehensive at first. Like I mentioned earlier, people think it's just a strict cooking class, so they come thinking it's going to be very difficult or boring. And then at the end of it, everybody's always smiling, always happy, always having a good time.
So Dario really gets into it, and you bring up the laughter, you bring up the fun, because cooking should be fun.
Well, I try to.
You strike me as somebody who would bring out the laughter. But cooking has to be fun, because if you don't have fun while cooking, the end product is not going to be as exciting as you'd want it to be. And so it's one of those moments when everyone comes together in the cooking space, and somebody has the spoon, somebody has the knife, somebody has the something, somebody washes, but all together. Here we're watching one of those experiences. You show us how to debone a fish, I guess that's what's going on there. And
yes, this is actually our very first session.
Oh, really? Look, she's learning how to get the bone, the meat off the bone, but not waste the meat. And that's what's very important. So this is great. But in doing all of this, we learn. We have an experience out of this world. And as you said, it's great for team building. You learn each other's strengths, you learn each other's differences, and then you realize who is better at what, and you reallocate accordingly. This is what, look at this, you're doing the plating.
Yes, I was given a demonstration of how they can plate what they cooked, and then they let them do their thing after and have their own fun with it. They took pictures, and again, it gets competitive, so people are like, oh, my plate look better than yours.
I can imagine. But there are 2 courses, really. The experience is for 2 courses, so you're not going to spend the whole day there. So 2 courses, and in all of that, we have the wonderful moments. Cut that, cut this, sit that. So you bring everything. Once we decide what it is we want to do, we create the space, we decide where we're going to be, and then you come and you have this wonderful experience with us. This food looks so exciting. Why you all do this to me this hour of the morning? For real, tasty. But it just goes to show what's possible from the experience, right?
Exactly. The options are essentially limitless. Only thing we're limited by, I guess, what we have access to on the island, really.
Yeah. I could see the children who are, getting involved as well, at whatever age and stage, because children love also to be a part of the activity in the kitchen.
Yes. Funny you should mention that. We actually had we did some sessions at Harrison's Cave. So they had a summer program, and they had really encouraged parents to bring their kids on tours and stuff. And part of some of those tours package was we did some cook this, sip that for kids. That is something we offer as well. So we go, doesn't matter how small you are, how old you are, if it's a work group, family, friends. We've had tours from overseas come and book with us for the experience. We've been to their villas and hotels, and so far everything, the reception to the concept, because it is a new concept. It was a new concept here. The reception of the concept has been fantastic.
I love it.
I couldn't have expected it to be as good as it was.
Yeah, because we're all looking. we're all looking for new experiences. So if you're having a birthday celebration, even as a child, young teenager, let this be a new way of doing it. Rather than have somebody bring the cake and you just burst balloons. No, we can do all of this as well. And this is a great way to do so, to have that celebration.
It really is.
So for those who want to book Cook This, Sip That, how can we reach you?
Right, so you can follow us on Instagram at Cook This BIM, B-I-M, or you can call us directly at 238-0970, and that will put you through to Dominique, and she would handle any of the bookings.
Right.
And then you can isolate. The last option is you can email us at cookthisbim@gmail.com.
Let's have fun, learn, and even show off your cooking. It says, bring that poster back up. I want to read from there because I just saw something. Right, here we go. Book now, let's have fun, learn, and even show off your skills. No cooking experience required. All
Absolutely
materials included. Book your cooking party today. And there's a lot of noise in my ears because my production crew is trying to challenge me on this. But to book, you can call 238-0970, 238-0970, or send an email to cookthisbim @gmail.com. Dario and his crew will happily come to you to create that party experience while all together in the kitchen. You do this, you do that, but we'll cook this and we'll sip that as we go.
Definitely have to sip that.
Yeah, for sure. Dario, thank you so much. All the best and success to you and your partner as you continue this brand new concept, which sounds so interesting. I really hope that people get the experience as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Pearson.
You're very welcome. You do too. Thank you. There he goes. Dario Calendar is his name. Dario Calendar. Remember, the number to call is 238-0970 or cookthisbim@gmail.com. We're taking a break here. We're coming back with more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's catch you up on the news now. A large reservoir is under construction in St. Joseph and is expected to provide some much needed relief to residents there. Crystal Hoyt reports.
The water woes of St. Joseph residents could soon be at an end. A major part of the solution is this reservoir behind me here at Castle Grant in St. Joseph. It's expected to hold 1.5 million gallons of water. Chairman of the Barbados Water Authority, Stevon Roberts, shared details about the project.
The water reservoirs, yes, this will definitely be increased water supply for the surrounding areas. Along with, for instance, the water coming down to Castle Grant, being pumped all the way from Vineyard, this will definitely be extra water supply for the surrounding areas, which will continuously give them a reliable source of water. The actual cost of the tank in Castle Grant is roughly $4.405 million, and that includes the cost of the tank and the underlying costs such as the geotechnical and the land acquisition. These tanks are being built out of precast concrete, which is an extremely strong material, and they're being built by Preconco Limited. We have dealt with them in the past, and none of their tanks that they have built for us have given us any issues.
Residents say they are pleased it is being built.
If this reservoir being built in this close proximity of Branchbury can result in a better and more reliable water supply for the residents of Branchbury, we are all for it. As you can see, we have that water tank there, which means that we have a reliable water supply. It's hurt everybody. People gonna come here to fetch water, to go home to make breakfast. It's be very challenging. And whatever the government can do to make the lives of the residents in Branchbury more comfortable concerning water, we 100% behind it, man.
I'm glad it's building because I feel it can help. It can help a lot because then at some points, you know, so I got water for months and months. And it was real hard, like dealing with the kids and stuff like that. Can't get to wash your clothes, you can't flush your toilets and stuff. I had to walk so far, sometimes I had to walk so far for water.
The project is expected to be completed within a few months. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. the Most Honorable Kenneth George also revealed that government is expanding the COVID-19 screening capacity by introducing a number of new private labs to the list of available sites. He adds the pandemic cannot be fought by government alone.
Ukraine testing laboratory has been added to 2 other testing sites that have the capacity to do testing for COVID, both PCR and antigen testing. The other 2 sites are the Bayview site, and we just added ChemScreen. Why? Because with respect to how we move forward, this cannot only be a government-only type response, and therefore the private sector is certainly welcome.
According to the Chief Medical Officer, the Ministry of Health recognizes the importance of re-evaluating the COVID-19 response and making adjustments as the situation evolves. He says government is focused on safely reopening the Barbados economy.
The emphasis has to be on living with COVID safely, and therefore the economy and the functions within the economy must take place. If you look worldwide, countries are moving away from lockdowns and shutting up people because we have evolved. And what we have tried to do in Barbados is have the COVID response evolve as the conditions have been made available and appropriate to us.
An 89-year-old woman is the latest COVID-19 casualty. She was fully vaccinated and died on Wednesday at the Harrison Point Isolation Facility. Her death brings the total now to 283. The Besto Santos Public Health Lab has identified 609 new COVID-19 cases, 278 males and 331 females from the 2,303 tests conducted on February the 2nd. The cases comprise 119 people under the age of 18. There are 187 people in isolation facilities, while 11,043 are in home isolation. Under the National Vaccination Program, the total who are fully vaccinated now stands at 147,383. Parents, teachers and students across the island are wondering when will the students finally get back into schools for in-class learning. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit our shores back in 2020, school corridors have been empty as classrooms have been forced into a virtual setting. However, there's another push to get students back into schools, and the ministry in charge is starting by further educating the public. Shane Jones reports.
I ain't take the vaccine And I don't think no Chinaman should take the vaccine either. Full stop.
Sir, what do you understand about COVID-19?
As the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training continues to pave the way for the safe, phased reopening of schools for face-to-face classes later this month, it is beefing up efforts to sensitize the public about the importance of students between 12 and 18 years old getting vaccinated.
We thought that children and young people were not as affected. But with the new, more transmissible variants, more children and young people are becoming infected, and some of them are becoming seriously ill.
Vaccination has been widely regarded as the leading public health prevention strategy to control the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Ministry of Education will circulate a number of public service announcements that encourage parents of eligible students to have their children vaccinated.
I miss interacting with my teachers and friends. I want to be vaccinated. Getting vaccinated can help protect me, my teachers, friends, and family from COVID-19.
I also understand that when vaccinated, I must continue to keep my guard up by washing my hands with soap and water frequently, wearing my mask properly, by covering my nose and mouth, and avoiding crowds.
We have implemented public health policies and measures in schools to protect everyone by installing hand sanitization stations, body temperature checks, and properly ventilated classrooms.
The proposed date for the reopening of schools is February 21st.
Well, that's our news until now. We'll have more news here on TV8 at 12 noon in the CBC Newsday, on our radio stations at 8 o'clock this morning, and again at 1 this afternoon in the CBC News World at 1. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll share with you on Morning Barbados our good decision of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, all week long we've been sharing with you what we hope are some really great decisions of the day, looking at ways to help your child build good judgment. Now we're down to number 5. Number 5 says, show them your decision-making process. We encourage you today to narrate your day to younger children. Talk about how you fold laundry, balance your checkbook, or fulfill your other daily duties. Plan the menu for a family picnic with your teenagers' assistants. Give them a first-hand understanding of how everyday decisions are made. Simple, huh? I know, but it's great for you to just talk with them. In talking with them, you're sharing about different ways to navigate through life: folding clothing, balancing the checkbook, daily planning a picnic. All of these things help to develop their decision-making skill sets. So don't dilly-dally. Try that today. Let that be one of your great decisions today, to start to engage more with your children at whatever age, at every age. Get them involved in the chores, get them involved in the running of the house, get them involved in making plans for themselves as well. And you're talking them through it, guiding them as they go, giving first-hand understanding of how everyday decisions are made. That is an excellent decision that you should take today. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, we're going into God's hands because we're God's property. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So here we are this Friday morning, another book to read, another book to learn from, another book to gain inspiration from too. You know, do you remember the words to the song Eres too? You remember it? In your hands, Lord, I place today, tomorrow. We sing it, but do we understand it, and do we understand yet whose we are? Well, one woman who we believe knows now whose she is Nicole Dalton. She's the author of the book, In God's Hands, God's Property. She joins us now. Good morning to you, Nicole.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How do you do?
I'm great. Here another day.
Here another day, because we're God's property and God grants us the opportunity every single time, every single day. When did you stumble upon that truth that you are in God's hands, you are God's property?
Okay, so it was in my early 30s when I moved to Buffalo. I would see other people have a relationship with God growing up, but I didn't feel I had a personal relationship as of yet with Him. But that all changed when I entered into at my church that I'm a member of now, First Calvary Missionary Baptist Church. The first things I heard was welcome home. And I grew up in a family that is ministers, pastors, evangelists, but I never felt it for myself.
Yes.
Until I entered into the church and I was seeking Him. I wanted my children to know Him. I wanted to get back on track with Him. And when I heard welcome home, that started it.
That started the whole process of acknowledging you've come home. But then it moved beyond that. It's wonderful to have that wonderful, rich, warm feeling of home. But home has to mean something, so you had to experience something else. How did you go about searching that so that you are able then to confirm that you are indeed in the house of God, that you're home?
One thing is, when you're seeking Him and you're looking to take quiet time with Him, and you're under the right proper leadership, you'll start getting access because you're seeking him. You have to seek him because God is free will. He's there even when we think he's not. And I now look back on all the times I could have died, all the times where I stopped and prayed and something came about to let me know it was him.
He showed up. He showed up. But while we're in search of the God, and while we're in search of ourselves, we also battle our own demons, because we have things that will pull us back, to say, doubt. Are you sure this is the road you want to turn? Are you sure that's the door you want to open? Are you sure he's really going to be there? How did you battle your own self so that you give up of yourself to become God's property?
Whenever there's fear, God doesn't give you the gift of fear. So if there's fear, that means you're doing something right. I stepped out on faith and I'm like, okay, Lord, I trust you. You got to trust him. And when he told me to leave a job that I was making some good, substantial money at for 10 years in the claims department, go back to school. You want me to what? Leave first? I was like, wait, I asked to leave this job to go someplace better, but you didn't say, you said, you trust me. Yeah, I trust you. Okay, then, go back to work. Do you trust me? Yes. You have to walk by faith. I had that blind faith, and woo, is it scary? Yes. But if he's giving you the assignment and he is giving you the proper backing, he will supply all your needs. The path will be there. And he was like, have your lights been cut off? No. Have I not supplied you with everything you need? Yes. Okay, then.
Yes.
Trust me? Yes.
So essentially, count your blessings, name them one by one, because oftentimes they go like a blur. We assume that's the way life is supposed to be, but that life happened simply because God recognizes that you're his property and his provisions are sure, because that's what he says he will do for you. God didn't create us to damage us. He created us to be beautiful, to be flourishing and inspiring, to live life as we know it. You see, you've got me really going right now, Nicole. And this is so unfair, but the book in itself documents all of your experiences, and it shares from your expertise and your place of knowing what it is that will help us to understand. So describe for me, while we turn the pages of the book, how we discover for ourselves that we are God's property.
How we discover is what I do. And if you do try it, definitely do, for any listeners or viewers. What I do is I shut out the world. I turn on soca music. Soca music is Christian music. It's just you and God. You let everything go and you just have a conversation. Now, I call him Abba because he is my father. He's my heavenly father. And I talk to him. And when I say God talks to me how I speak sometimes, he'll be like, no, shut up. Like when something comes against me and I want to let my flesh handle it, he'll be like, shut up. And I'll be like, what? He'll be like, shut up. I'll be like, oh, okay. Because sometimes a loss here is a gain in heaven. So you sometimes have to protect yourself. And so he'll talk to me like, shut up. He'll talk to me like this. Not thou shalt not tempt. No, shut up. I'm like, okay, but so he will check you, and woo, that's that. You got to die out of your flesh daily, and so just have your one-on-one time with him. I wake up and I thank him first before I do anything else for being above ground. Because as quick as he give it, he can take it.
Yes. You know, what you're speaking about there is having that personal relationship. The kind of relationship where there is mutual trust and understanding on both sides. Where you can say it to me and I can say it to you, but we understand why we behave in the way we behave. And But what you've painted also is a picture of a real God, not someone who just sits there with a ruler ready to rule, but somebody who talks to you, who understands you, and who shares with you in the ways you understand. And I think in making him real, we are closer to understanding why we are his property and how we can live out the truth of being his property. So you've just given all of us a real great food for thought, and it's in the book in itself. You know, we've been asked to do a few things as Christians. One, to pray to God constantly, talk to him a lot, follow his commandments, and to tell others about him. Some will say simple, Simon, but it's not always that easy. So how can your book help us to get to the point where our muscles are strong enough that we can run that race and do that?
Now, just to let everybody know, in the Bible, he does say it's not easy. So it's not. And if you go to Luke, he says, who receives you, break bread and sit down and supper with them. But there's going to be some people that turn against you, don't believe you, dust your shoulders off, dust your feet off, and keep it moving. Because there's some people that's not going to believe. There's some people that's going to be like, oh, you're just making this up. That's between them and God. Do not take it personally. But for the ones who do believe and receive, then you did your job, they received it, and you keep it moving. But the simple fact is, troubles don't last always. And anytime I come against something, I'm like, okay, this too shall pass, because it will. It does not. You may be at a hard place, but God will make a way and provide. All you got to do is trust him.
Yeah, that trust confirms that you are in God's hands. You are in God's hands and you are his property. And we all take care of our property. God will take care of you as well because you are his property. She's nodding in agreement. I just love watching you right here. Nicole, so for those watching today who want to get their hands on a copy of this book and to feel themselves as God property as well, how can we get this book in God's hands, God's Property by Nicole Dalton?
Now, just to let you know, God told me I need to also do audio. So what I did was, the book is on Amazon under Nicole Dalton. And if you want a personal signature from me, I do that as well. You can purchase it strictly from me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And on Instagram, I'm under celebrating_sunshine.
Right.
I'm also on Facebook as Nicole Sunshine Dalton, because the simple fact is, I'm okay. If you have questions, you want to purchase it from me, get a signature autograph, I'll do that. That's not a problem. Because I'm here for access. God told me to do it. There's a lot of testimonies I could not put in because it included other people that he needed to minister to. Yes. Now, if they're the witness, they can come forth and speak, but I could not speak on what he had me do with them.
Yes.
So God's Property is on Amazon. It's about to be on all platforms, audio, and then I'm going to do video with subtitles for the ones who are deaf. God said we're going to reach them more, we're going to reach them more. Deaf, and if you're blind, you can listen to it. If you are busy working and you don't have time to read, you can listen to it.
Yes.
So I'm recording them all on audio and then doing video. So it's all access on all platforms.
You're busy in God's work indeed, and that's lovely because you're God's property, Nicole. And so we congratulate you on the book. We really hope that people get it and get from it the inspiration and the knowledge, the relationship that we're building here with God, our Savior. You call him Abba, I call him Jehovah. So we want everyone to benefit from all of this today. So the book, folks, is available on Amazon. Look for it. In God's Hands, God's Property by Nicole Dalton. And she'll be happy to autograph it if you get it directly from her as well. It's going to be quite a journey you're on. It's going to be a rewarding journey most of all. Nicole, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Likewise. Thank you so very much. Nicole Dalton joining us here on Morning Barbados. All right. We'll take that break right here, and when we come back, two of Barbados' bests will join us.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
A number of our sporting and cricketing fans have been asking for this, and cricket is back. It's back at Kensington Oval. We would have just spent some time at Kensington in the T20 tournament, West Indies versus England, and now we're about to start the four-day tournament, and Barbados is defending champions, and certainly we start our defense of that championship on February the 9th. Joining us to talk a little bit about more of the preparation, the team, its readiness and its focus is Jomel Warrican and Shem Holler. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Welcome to Morning Barbados this Friday morning. Are you guys ready for the cricket game that starts on the 9th?
We're definitely ready.
All right.
Go ahead, Jomel. Go ahead.
It's just so funny how both of you are saying the same thing at the same time. That's all right. So, Jomel, let's start with you.
Okay.
Tell me, Jomel, you saw what happened just recently in the T20 series, West Indies versus England. What do you think of our performance, West Indies?
I think it's a very good bounce back after the performance against Ireland, and the way we perform and the way we compete to win the series was very good. So I'm proud of the guys. So well done to them. Well done to them indeed.
So you know now that they've set the pace, Barbados has to follow, naturally, right?
Yeah, that's the line that we want to go down. We are defending champions, so therefore we want to continue and look to win as much games and repeat what we did 2 years ago.
Absolutely. Shem, what about you? Are you ready for the start of the tournament, the four-day tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we played this four-day cricket, so the guys are taking some time, do a lot of reflection and put in some work, put in the hard yards to get yourself ready. So it's definitely something we're all looking forward to.
But there wasn't a lot of cricket being played. So naturally, when that happens, when you put the machine down, the machine can get rusty just a little bit. So what have you been doing, Shem, starting with you, to get yourself oiled back up in anticipation of the start of the series?
Given that it was a while since I played, a longer format of cricket, I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to play some cricket in the US last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing over there, came back home. We went straight into trials and what's not. We had a few hiccups, with weather and stuff like that. But the guys, we came together as a group and we started training on our own. Spending a lot of time in the gym and stuff like that. So I would say, definitely for me personally, it was a pretty, smooth transition back into being active. I try to keep physically active as much as possible. So I wouldn't say that the body is feeling too rusty at all.
That's great to hear. What about you, Jomel? What have you been doing to get yourself all match perfect?
Well, for me, the last 2 years or so, I've been playing cricket for West Indies. I've been playing cricket, which is a plus and bonus. Also, since I came back from Sri Lankan tour, we have had training at Kensington or Carlton. So we have been practicing, and we also had some practice games. That I had the privilege to get some match practice and also be in the gym doing your cardio. So I won't say the guys are rusty, because the guys have been training very hard. We have been preparing for the competition because we know it's starting in February. So the guys have been putting in the hard work, and me personally, I've been putting in the work as well.
What do you think is, we are defending champions. I know you'll say to me, we are going to win in your opinion. But talk to me about how the team has been gelling, who's been working to bring about that synergy among you guys, starting with you, Jomel.
Well, one about us playing as a unit for Barbados, the chemistry and we play as a unit, we play as a team, and most of all, having fun is on a different level. No matter which guys come into the team, we have a connection, we have a bond, and we just enjoy the cricket. Because for the last 5 or 6 years, we never played at full strength. It's always new guys coming into the team, giving them opportunities, and they seem to be, we always welcome them, and the environment or the setting for them is always a joyful one, and we try to make it fun, smooth, calm, and just live as a family, and the more we do that, is the best we perform out there.
You're absolutely right. Shem, what about you in terms of getting ready now to face the Leeward Islands? That's your first game coming up. What have you been doing to psych out the competitors there in the Leeward Islands?
Well, I haven't seen the Leeward's team as yet, but I know a few of the guys that play pretty consistently for Leeward. So I also played for Leeward in 2018. So I knew a few of the guys. I think, it's just a case of trusting yourself and trusting your own game, adapting to who you see or, the conditions. So for me personally, it was just a case of sticking to my routine over the last few weeks and few months and making sure that Shem, the person is ready once given the opportunity.
Everyone watches the team and they say, oh, we're pretty strong on batting, we're not so strong on bowling, we wish we had more spinners. All of that kind of assessment happens once the team is announced. How would you, Shem, describe the team that will be representing Barbados? In what areas are we strongest? And in what areas do you think we need to be a little bit more, to beef up a little bit more?
I think overall, Barbados cricket is full of talent. We have some highly skilled guys in all aspects of the game. So, from my point of view, it's a pretty well-rounded team. We've got experienced guys at test level like Jomel Warrican, Craig Brathwaite, John Carter is one of the most experienced guys going around. We've got Shane Durridge coming back into the fold. Shane Mosey played test cricket last year. It's a very experienced team. There's some new guys coming through. So, as Jomel said, we live like a family. So, it's like each one teach one, just bringing through the guys and making sure that we're referring out us and others come the night.
Jomel, while you have had the experience of playing cricket overseas and represented the West Indies as well, so too are some members of the Leeward Islands. So what can you tell us about the Leeward Islands contingent thus far, and how is the team preparing for what they could possibly bring?
The Leeward is a very unpredictable team. When they turn up, they're very good, so we have to make sure that we can outclass them. They have some good all-round cricketers as well. They have Rakeem Cornwall, they have Kieran Powell, so not a team to be taken for granted. So we have to go out there and make sure we play them as if we're playing Trinidad or Jamaica, because on their day they could turn up and beat any team. So for we as a unit, we always preach that we play cricket on the day. We make sure that we compete and play our best cricket and play what we know. That's the most important thing, play our brand or style of cricket. Once we continue to do that, we should perform well and come out on top.
How do you describe your style, the brand of cricket that you just talked about? What is the Barbados style and brand of cricket?
I think we're a very aggressive team in first class cricket. I remember when our shows in control, we always tell ourselves that we want to be like the Australian team in West Indies cricket. So we want to beat people and dominate teams and show that we're in a different caliber, different class.
I like that.
Don't drop our standards.
I like that. In one of the sessions we have here on a Wednesday morning with Joan Underwood is building that team charter, the understanding of what kind of team we are. And you just described it for us. You want to be that world-class team, and that's what you guys strive for every minute, every day, every game. So with the crowds back in the stadium, back in the Oval, that must mean a lot to you guys to hear the cheering, the noise, the shouts, everything else. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, like you said, it's been a while since we actually had the opportunity to play cricket at home, from at all levels really. So it's definitely been looking forward to seeing some familiar faces in the crowd and hearing those words of encouragement.
Yes.
Definitely something I think all the guys will be looking forward to that.
So, Jomelda, you give us the encouragement. Talk to Barbados this morning, because there are two 4-day games being played here, starting the 9th and the second one I think is the 16th. So talk to us, tell Barbados why they need to come out and support the Barbados Pride cricket team at the start of this tournament.
Well, I know we as Bajan, we love cricket, so therefore we play a brand of cricket that everyone likes, and therefore the support will help the guys to move forward and perform even better. There's no better feeling than when a guy takes 5 wickets or score 100 or the team win and they have the crowd in the background cheering us and enjoying the cricket. And once we can entertain everyone, I know they will be in for a good performance by the Barbados team.
It is going to be quite an entertaining match indeed, folks. The cricket, you can go to wendyscricket.com. Remember, you can get to Kensington Oval, get your ticket and get inside, because on the 9th, we're going to be there to support the Barbados Pride in that first 4-day match against the Leeward Islands. And of course, we wish you only the best, gentlemen, as the Barbados Pride goes out to defend the title and also to represent this nation. We know you'll do it well, do us well, and the thousands of Barbadians all over the world are going to be behind you, believe it or not. It is going to happen. So thank you so much for joining. All the best in the tournament.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. That's Jamal Warrican and Shem Holder, Barbados Pride cricketers. And Jamal himself being a West Indies cricketer, you know that already. So it's going to be a battle at the Oval starting the 9th of February. For the 4-day tournament, Barbados starts its defence in that first match against the Leeward Islands. You shall be there. And the cricket, of course, you will know. We will continue to follow it and monitor it and share it, the information right here at CBC as well. We're coming right back with more after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Their aim is to pierce the heart of those who believe. Their aim is to pierce the heart of those who do not believe, because their one purpose is God's target indeed. And certainly Project Arrow has been founded. We'll be talking to the people behind the founder of Project Arrow in just a moment, but they've released a video, their very first song, Living Arrow. Before we talk to them, take a look at the ministry of Project Arrow.
Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. I wanna be fully yours. Lord, I'm running after you, having all of me. Lord, I'm running after you, having all of me. Lord, I'm running after you, having all of me. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. Singing, oh, 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 oh. Singing, oh, oh, oh. Singing, oh, 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 oh. Singing, oh, 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 oh. I am crucified, now you live in me, now you live
Just before the break, you had a chance to look at the first release, Living Arrow, by the Project Arrow team. Shane Forrester wrote it, he led it, and he had with him the Project Arrow singers. And so Shane, the founder of Project Arrow, joins us now. Good morning to you, Shane Forrester.
Good morning to you, Pearson. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're still with that baby face. I don't know how you do it. But well done, you're doing very well. But that's all right.
I smile a lot. I laugh a lot. I laugh a lot.
Then I need to adopt something to smile a lot and laugh a lot. Yeah, to have it baked in there, but that's all right. Good to see you again.
It's good, man.
Project
It's great to see you,
Arrow.
Pearson.
Thank you. Project Arrow. Talk to me about the thinking behind it.
Well, the thinking behind it was birthed over the first lockdown that we had. I really sensed that it was a period for us to truly humble ourselves in light of all that the world has been experiencing. And I sensed the Lord leading me to birth this movement of worship music and inspirational music from the islands to export to the nations. Oftentimes we are more import mentality than we are export mentality, and I figured with music, we here in Barbados and in the Caribbean, we have something to say. We have experiences that indeed are exportable. So it's from that perspective I sense the call to really facilitate a movement to create music in the worship genre that can be nations, so people can see, listen, God is working here in Barbados too, and he's working in the Caribbean as well. So that's the whole movement behind it, and also the whole idea of creating music too that helps believers and non-believers experience Christ in a really meaningful and lasting way, an impactful way that gives them hope and also just blesses them to become more what God will want them to be.
You know, the arrow, the use of the word arrow in the name, I'm curious about that, because the arrow can either be a weapon or it can be used in a very positive way as well. So talk to me about why you came up with the name, the word arrow, to be a part of your name.
Right. Well, this is twofold, basically. The arrow points to Christ, right, which is your life pointing back to him, recognizing that the scripture tells us that we are convinced that one died for all. All living now should live not only for themselves, but for the one who died for them.
Yes.
So the whole idea is, you're pointing your life back to Christ by how you live it, by what you say, and what you sing. So the arrow really is pointing back.
Yes.
But it's also in pointing back, you're also doing a bit of warfare against the negativity of the times, because contrary to popular belief, in the surrendering to Christ that you experience the victory.
Isn't that interesting? In surrendering to Christ, in surrendering, you experience a victory, but it must be in Christ.
Yes.
So yes, the arrow points the way, but it also pierces the heart as well. So here we are now. You're creating this inspirational music, worshipful music from the beautiful island of Barbados. So you've got a team of people around you, those voices. I see in there Donalisa Yearwood, who herself has been a part of this show. You discovered her voice and we had to share it with the world. But there's some other voices. So from where have you found them so that they're part of Project Arrow?
Well, basically, different churches. Basically what I did, I have a few acquaintances, obviously within Project Arrow, that I would have been close to before. Deborah Rook, Juanita, Terry, and some members. And I tell them, listen guys, I have this idea that I really want to put together a team to record and create music, to export, to really create a sound that is here from Barbados that we can export. And that's how it also, people start to spread the word. And we got together and we rehearsed, and we found a kind of synergy and blend among us. We prayed about it, and here it is. That's how it all happened. So, and it's kind of cool because it's not really focused centric on one church, but it's really bringing the church together in terms of different churches coming together to make one project. that
So-
points to Christ.
So Living Arrow is your first release, and so talk to me about the engine room now, because clearly, you know, you wrote it, you put it together, then everybody rehearsed it, you produced it, and so forth. What's the engine room like as you build out this new catalog of worshipful music coming from Project Arrow?
Well, for this particular song, what I was really sensing for this particular song is a group effort. Normally, I would go into the studio and I would put everything down, right? Get the, put down the guitars, but I would really sense that the song needed to be lived out in terms of, okay, not making it all about me. So even in the part of the song, we'd make it all. I sensed to bringing on the musicians. So I had Laurie Leon Worrell, all right, playing keys. I had David Thomas on guitar, Kevin Jack on guitar, Neil Newton on bass, Chad on drums. So I brought in musicians to really lend to the whole idea. And it's not about me, because I really believe in creating music that has integrity, that if you're going to sing it, you should be living it. So I wanted to bring in a team. So that for this particular, and then I had J. Cole Lawrence overseeing the sound of it, shaping the sound, making sure we have a global sound. And that's how it all came together,
So
for this particular song.
Yeah, the future looks fantastic for Project Arrow. So what's the next project from Project Arrow? We've got this one, Living Arrow. What's next?
Yes. Well, what's next? We could be actually working. We already have 4 more songs in the making in terms of projected to record. I'm constantly writing, so we're going to be looking to release a next single very shortly, and that's the plan. And also, in addition to releasing music, we really want to release things into the culture, such as t-shirts, things like devotional books, and so on. So we're going to be looking, Project Arrow is very not just music focused, but we want to really focus on exporting our values as well, in terms of how we live, so that you can see behind the music there's a philosophy, there's a conviction, and there's a lifestyle that we live out.
The future looks bright. It definitely looks bright. It points the way back to God, but it leads the way to you through your heart as well. Shane Forrester as well, thank you so much for joining us. We're out of time, but I wish only the very best to Project Arrow, yourself and your team, for creating this music from Barbados that will impact the world in a significant way and bring more people to know God, the God who we serve. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Person.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
You're very welcome. Likewise. That's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My producer has been Nadia Foster, technical director Roel Ford. Sound has been controlled by Christopher Blenman, and master control we have Tamisha Green. I'm Pearson Boyne, wishing all of you a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday, should it be God's will. Take care then, and bye-bye.
Wake up.